First, our top story this half an hour and this week. Fox Business is shining the spotlight on capitalism versus socialism this week. Here's President Trump during a visit to a national gas facility in Louisiana yesterday.
We want every American to know the dignity of work, the pride of a paycheck, and the satisfaction of a job well done. We do not believe in socialism, okay? Is that all right to say? I think that's okay. I think so. If we had socialism here, you'd have nothing standing. And if it was standing from previous generations, it would be falling down right now.
The socialism debate is heating up ahead of 2020 with candidates like Bernie Sanders, Elizabeth Warren, Kamala Harris calling for policies like tax increases on the wealthy, free college tuition, Medicare for all. Joining us right now is activist and socialism advocate Nomiki Konst. And Nomiki, it's good to see you again. Thanks so much for joining us this morning.
Thank you, Maria.
So tell us why you're a socialist.
Well, so to start, there's a little bit of a difference between democratic socialists, and of course, more radical style socialists. And I think that's one of the problems that we have in the United States. Our education system really hasn't afforded us the ability to understand the depths of the different political philosophies out there. So what I believe in is I believe in a democratic government. I mean, that's essentially what democratic socialism is. It's a government that's built off of the people. It's made up of the people. The people who are deciding are the people writing the laws. The people who are affected by the economy. Right now, we are living more in an oligarchy where, not a 1%, but a 0.1% is there making all the money, not paying the taxes, living in multiple homes, driving up the cost of real estate, lobbying our lawmakers to not make sure that working people can live better lives. Income inequality is worse than it's ever been in history right now. We're talking after the stock market crashed in 1929, after the 2008 collapse. It's worse now than it was then. And I think that democratic socialists think that this is a reflection of our government being an oligarchy rather than a government that really came out of the New Deal. I mean, that was essentially a form of democratic socialism. And it's what so many countries around the world have a deeper understanding of, in that they protect their most vulnerable citizens rather than those who can line the pocketbooks of our lawmakers.
Aaron?
Good morning, Erin Elmore here. So despite the prominence of socialist ideals in the mainstream liberal media, recent polls by Monmouth, for example, show that socialist ideals are not popular. Only 10% of people prefer them. And if you do support socialism, it's all about the community. This shows that the community isn't really behind you. Where does that leave you on your theories here?
Well, I think one of the problems is, as I said at the beginning, was most people don't understand, especially an older generation, mainly coming out of the Reagan era, is that, people don't understand what socialism is. When you poll people on the issues that democratic socialists are fighting for, Medicare for all, fair housing, eliminating student debt and reducing student debt, these are things that all Americans want to see happening. But it's really the labels, the fear that's attached to these labels that's frankly put out there by Donald Trump. It's put out there by far right-wing media. You'll see that democratic socialism is actually rising, especially with younger people. And just one more thing to add, a lot of these polls are extremely flawed, and they're focused on specific demographics. We have to talk about the issues, not the labels, and how the issues and the policies are going to improve people's lives. Because
looking just at, for example, work, and because socialism is for the people, as you just said, should everyone make the same salary?
No, that's communism. So
no. It's not. That would be socialism because everyone would be the same. Everyone should be making the same, and there's no, productivity increases where people have an incentive to work hard and make as much money as they can. You just said a minute ago that it's 0.1% at the top making all the money. So you must agree then everybody should make the same salary then.
No, so socialism, communism, and democratic socialism, I think it's like we all need a rebranding. Democratic socialism is a challenge on making a better capitalism. It's believing in democratic values and institutions, but also a check on capitalism. That is how democratic socialist theorists all across the world operate. There are governments being led this way. It doesn't mean that they're anti-capitalism. It doesn't mean they're storming the gates. They're not anarchists. They're not calling, and frankly, most democratic socialists aren't calling for a universal basic income. That's something more libertarian. So we believe that, yes, the markets need to be checked. Right now, they're out of control. But every person should be able to start a small business the way my grandparents did when they immigrated here, when they escaped communism, Maoist communism, to come here.
Well, you're mixing it up, because everybody being able to start their own business is not socialism. You can call it Democrat socialism or whatever you want, but it's not socialism, having everybody to be able to start their own business and make as much money as they can. No, Miki, you're confusing capitalism and socialism.
No, I'm actually not. In fact, sitting here right now, my computer is on a stack of books that deal with this subject. Democratic socialism, democratic states are different than blanket socialism, the theory. You know, Leninism is different than Marxism. You know, we have to go back to history, and it's complicated. And
but you don't like capitalism.
I think that capitalism needs to be checked. Democratic socialism is a check on capitalism. It is not a rebuttal on capitalism and the elimination of capitalism. We live in a global economy. That's not going to happen anytime soon.
Okay.
But the truth is that, you know, people need to be paying their fair share of taxes, especially the 1%.
Naomi, it's Dagan McDowell. Good to see you. We've done a lot of TV together over the years. Listening to kind of your prominent representatives of democratic socialism, occasionally when they talk about problems in our society, say problems in public housing with children getting asthma here in New York, or the Flint water crisis, for example, those are problems created by government. So how does more government fix those?
It's interesting you mention this. So these are problems specifically, both of those are a reflection of austerity in government. In both NYCHA, the public housing in New York, and in Flint, what you saw was a conservative government create austerity, just as they did in Greece, just as they did in Portugal and Spain, where it sucks the life out of the citizens and really lines the pocketbooks of the fiscal control boards who are making money off of these institutions being sucked of their resources. And then what happens next is you have big companies come in and say, oh, we're going to privatize it. There's no option now. We have to fix this by privatizing public housing, by privatizing water. And the proof is out there now. When you privatize water supplies, you know, it actually doesn't make that water cleaner. When you privatize housing, it doesn't make that housing better functioning and fair. It actually just makes a lot of money off of, frankly, poor people. And that's not fair.
All right, Nomiki, we'll be watching. Thanks so much. Nomiki Khan's joining us there.